Okay, we are going to make, or I'm going to demonstrate how to make the creme anglaise using the direct heat method. So before I start, I want to go over all the ingredients and the equipment that you'll need and the setup so that once you start cooking, you have everything in place because it does all happen very quickly. Okay, so I've already measured out some of the ingredients. I have, oh, and I'm using a different recipe. I'm using my own recipe, and I'll email this to all of you as well. But the ingredients are the same as the recipe I gave you, and the quantities are probably approximately the same, but I'll tell you what it is. So I have egg yolks, and I'm working with 6 egg yolks. I have my sugar. I have, instead of using whole milk, I'm using half and half, and I have 16 ounces of that. And I have my vanilla extract. If you have vanilla bean, a whole vanilla bean, that would be ideal for the creme anglaise. I didn't have any on hand, so I'm gonna use the vanilla extract. That will work just fine. Okay, so in addition to the ingredients, this is what I have. In my ice bath, I have this Pyrex container with my strainer. Now this is what I'm gonna use for when I'm done preparing the creme anglaise. It's gonna go straight into here. So this is already set up for me, and I'm gonna just keep it to the side. In addition to that, I do have a wire whisk, which I like to use, and I also have a couple of flexible rubber spatulas. These are good to stir, to use to test for the coating of the back of the spoon. Obviously you can't use the whisk for that, but I like to use the whisk because it's easier to keep the liquid moving off the bottom of the pot. So I'll show you when I get working about that. The other thing I want to explain is for the direct heat method, one of the reasons that I feel comfortable using that method is because I use a very, very heavy saucepan. So pardon this old Le Creuset that I have here that's worn through the enamel, but it still works great. So this is a Le Creuset, which is the cast iron with the enamel finish. So this works really well because it's very, very heavy, so it can take the high heat, but it also distributes the heat really well, as opposed to something that is of a thinner, lighter quality. When you're working with the egg yolks and the milk, it might tend to scorch more easily. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do, half and half is gonna go in my saucepan. And I'm gonna start that because we wanna get it just to a simmer. So I'll get that, I'm gonna turn that up high. In the meantime, I'm gonna get my sugar into my yolks. And it is very important and crucial that as soon as you add the granulated sugar to egg yolks, you have to incorporate it by whisking it together right away. You don't want to let the sugar sit on top of the yolks, or if it were to be something with whole eggs, you don't want to just let it sit there without whisking it to get it liquid, because it will start to cook the eggs and make little chunks that you don't want. Okay, so you have this nice and smooth. The vanilla I'm going to use later, but I'll move that over here, and I'll take all of this stuff over here. Okay, so the other thing I like to do to make this easy for myself is I have a towel here that holds my bowl with my yolks and sugar secure. So when I'm tempering the milk into this, I don't have to worry that my bowl is going to be sliding all over the place. Okay, so I have that like that. I probably am not going to need both of these spatulas, but I'll do this. So as the milk is starting to heat, this is going to take just a minute. I'm going to use my rubber spatula and just move it around a little. In case for some reason, depending on your particular burner or your saucepan, if one spot was getting hotter than another, so your milk product doesn't scorch. Okay. Okay, so that is your setup. Again, we got my ice bath, Pyrex container that can hold the hot anglaise when it's done, with my strainer all ready to go, and my wire whisk to do my tempering, and my bowl is secure. Okay, so the longest part of this whole process is just waiting for your half and half, or your milk, to come to a simmer. And as soon as it does that, the rest of the process is going to go really fast. Okay.